This is Teacher Zyrus and welcome back to our channel. So our discussion for this day is all about experiential learning theory and also theories na kasali sa ating cognitive learning theories. So kasi we are focusing all the theories na kasali sa Prof Ed so that marami tayong theories na matutunan, especially yung hindi masyadong kilalang theories. So let's start our discussion. So we have a experiential learning theory. So the experiential learning theory is identified by David Kolb in 1984, and also the influential theorists about this is John Dewey, Kurt Dewin, and Jan Paget. So ang experiential learning theory is that paggagawa natin ang estudyante ng activities outdoors. So, experiential. So, best example for this is agriculture. So, kapag upang matutong estudyante paano magtanim, so gagawa sila ng garden. So, kagaya ng ginawa natin noong grade 5, grade 4 to grade 6 tayo, hindi ba? Merong garden, merong home economics na subject sa ating panahon. So, it is better for them to see and experience. So, dapat kanilang they can touch, they can smell, and also they can see it personally. If the learning was experienced, it is considered as lifelong learning, hindi ba? So for example, for this, so kapag tayo magluluto, so iniwan natin ang ating linuto kasi meron tayong pinanood sa TV. So pagkatapos natin manood, so nakalimutan natin ang ating sinaing. So syempre, masusunog yun. So that's why the lesson learned, so that is experiential learning. So, dapat unahin mo na tapusin ang pagluluto so bago tumutok sa TV. So, that is experiential learning theory. So, we are now in cognitive theory. So, our main focus for today is constructivist theory. Remember, every student that enters your classroom has a unique perspective. So, the main objective of constructivist theory is that every student has a unique knowledge kasi meron silang iba't ibang experiences. There are elements of constructivist theory. So first, that is knowledge is constructive. Every students have learned experiences. So kaya ang bawat mag-aaral ay merong sariling interpretasyon or understanding sa bawat lesson na tinatalakay. So kaya nga, so for example, the best example for this is teaching economics. So ang bawat estudyante ay merong experience sa pagbili sa merkado. So syempre, meron silang iba't ibang lessons or tips kung paano bumili. So kaya nga, knowledge is constructed because of every students are experiencing the same situation so being discussed. So next is learning is a social activity. So, hindi nyo ba napansin na during classes, so ang guro ay encouraged to to formulate groups, hindi ba? So, merong tinatawag na group discussion. So, pagkatapos ng group discussion, so merong representative about grupo, so to discuss about the topics assigned on them. So, by using constructive social activities, the students will engage. So kasi ang guro at ang estudyante merong ibang levels of learning. So levels of knowledge. So syempre, ang guro is merong mataas na understanding sa naturang lesson kasi siya ang nagtuturo. And then student itself has its level of understanding. So kaya nga ang level ng estudyante, so mas madaling matuto ang estudyante if estudyante mismo ang mag-share ng ideas. So, unlike sa ang teacher ang mag-discuss. So, kasi kadalasan na tinuturo ng guro is hindi na-experience ng estudyante. So, that is, learning is a social activity. And then, mas confident ang estudyante na mag-express ng kanyang ideas So during group activities, because palagi niyang kasama ang kanyang kaklase. So kaya mas open siyang magbigay ng kanyang idea. So kesa sa ang guro ang magtatanong sa kanya kasi mauwaw. Or some students are shy to express their ideas because they don't want to gain attention. So kaya during group activities, those kind of persons will be catered. Next is learning is an active process. So kaya we use existentialism. So we give students time to express their own ideas. So by this, students are active participants of learning. So kasi mas gustong estudyante na matuto if they are involved in teaching kaysa sa ang guro lamang ang magbibigay impormasyon so during the lesson. Learning is contextual. So learning is a continuous process. So kaya nga kapag ang tao ay buhay pa, so merong iba't ibang experiences na pwedeng kapulutan ng aral. So kaya nga learning is contextual is that ang learning or ang schema ng isang tao is mag-a-update. Best example for this upang mas madali nating matutunan is that gadgets. So, di ba, cellphone, so sometimes every month, so merong patch na ibibigay ang manufacturer ng cellphone to update our smartphones. So, update from Android 12 to Android 13. So, merong upgrades sa camera, sa system or sa experience ng paggamit ng cellphone to solve some problems or issues. So that is learning is contextual. So our knowledge is always updating. So as long as we live, as long as we experience something, as long as we are sociable, so we learn something about it. So that's why learning is contextual. So learning is always updating because learning is a continuous process. Task to make a essay about historical events or chronological events of history in the Philippines. Instead na ang events lamang ng history ang kanilang matutunan, so they can also learn grammars. People learn to learn as they learn because we are learning multiple ideas simultaneously. So the best example for this is ang sa pagbili ng pagkain. So bibili tayo, especially sa mga prutas. So first is ating susuriin muna if presko ang prutas. So we learned it. So during home economics subject. And then ang pagbili natin, pagbayad at pagsukli, that is mathematics and economics. So that's why people learn to learn as they learn. So next is learning exists in minds. So sometimes there are biases in our minds. So merong kaalaman na hindi natin gustong adapin kasi kontra sa ating faith. So ating belief. So that's why for us to develop to thorough understand, students must experience activities mentally as well. So the best example for this, if you have biases in learning, especially in history, kahit nangyari ang hindi nangyari, ang hindi mo gustong mangyari, so mangyayari yan. So dapat walang biases sa learning. Kasi if we have biases, hindi tayo magpa-progress sa ating kaalaman. So the best example for this is ang kakamping at saka kambibian. So wala akong pinapanigan dito. So kakamping is that during the existence of President Ferdinand Edralin Marcos or FEM is the worst era in our history where human rights, many peoples are abused and killed. So that is correct. But hindi matatawag nating worst era. So kasi marami ring nagawa ang Marcos na nakatutulong sa ating bansa. The best example for that is Masagana. So Masagana is that focus on giving benefits to farmers. That is very helpful. And then that's why we became exporter of goods during that time. And then the second one is the Green Revolution. So the Green Revolution is that all government officials, all students are involved in planting trees. So in order to fight against climate change. So during the time of President Marcos, that is a good programs. And many more. So that's why if we have biases, so hindi natin matutunan ang good sides. So and then during the time of Ferdinand, sa mga pro-Marcos, believe that Ferdinand Marcos era is the best. So but even there is abuse due to abusive person in the government. So they think it is the best, even though there are some peoples are being abused by those in authority. So that is biases in history. So if we have biases, we cannot learn the truth. We cannot move on. So we cannot learn on what is right. So if meron tayong biases, that is why learning exists in mind. So as long as we have bias, progress isn't right for us. Next is knowledge is personal. So because we have different experiences, we have different definition of understanding. So that is knowledge is personal. And lastly is motivation is key to learning. So that's why true motivations is key to by making connections and creating understanding. We cannot learn if we are unwilling to reflect on pre-existing knowledge and activate their thought process. The best example for that when preparing the board exam. So you want to study. So you are motivated to study. So mas marami kang matutunan if you are motivated to study. But if you are forced to study, so syempre wala kang matutunan doon kasi you are not motivated. So that's why during my first video and on my YouTube channel, it talks about the tips on preparing the board exam. So I encourage everyone not to study if you are unwilling to study. But you should make things to motivate yourself to study daily. So kasi hindi maganda if palagi na lang unwilling ang ating mind to study. That's why we make things we need to motivate ourselves so that ang unwilling to study mabago and is willing to study. So I do hope that you learned something about the cognitive constructivism. Thank you for watching. So don't forget to hit like and subscribe to our channel so that you will be updated to our future videos. This is Teacher Zyrus and thanks for watching. God bless us all.